Okay, I'm going to show you how I install the shafts, 3 sets of gear shafts here, with the Calmini 416 gears. Calmini, there's a little how-to here. I got it from the guy, one on eBay. He sent this, and this is their how-to, yada yada yada. And what they want you to do is, when you got everything put together, and you're going to install the shafts, they want you to install the main shaft first, then the input shaft, then the middle gear shaft. Now that is not how I do it, because I'm different like that. What I do is, their way may be easier, I don't know, I didn't try it, because I don't read instructions all the time. So anyways, I install it with the main shaft, the middle shaft already pushed in and installed. So what I do is, in both ways, their way and my way, you gotta install the main shaft first. Now before you can install it, you want to go ahead and put the high-low selector, slide it on there. So before you slide this whole thing in, you'll have to have the selector on. Of course, this will be in its hole before the bearing even comes close to touching. So as you're sliding this in, and you want to be careful not to grind this, make sure it's going in easy. It's not going to come off. It's not going to come off as you're sliding that in. You have to grow a third arm, kind of, and you got to put this gear selector ring back on the shifter teeth. And as you hold it, you have to rock it back and forth so it clears the teeth. So as you're pushing it in, making sure it goes on straight, it's not grinding anything. You gotta rotate this, make sure once it pops in, it'll just bloop, fall down. And of course it stops because you have that ring on that bearing. And that's it. Okay, so the main shaft's in with the second selector. And what I do is I install the middle gear next. As I said, I already have this bolted down. So all I do is, as you can see, the high gear on the middle shaft is too big to slide down. And so what I do is I pull up on this, which it kind of, as long as you don't pull past that to make it fall off, you're fine. And let me just see if I can show you. I don't think I'll be able to. But anyways, I just pull up on that, slide that on there, and it falls right down. And then you re-slide the main shaft, and it falls the teeth through. It might come out of this. I don't know. Like I said, this is my way. It works. And you just put that back on if it slides off, and then, okay, it's on. So the final shaft, I noticed with the stock gears, it would just fall right in. I didn't have to move anything. Well, with these Calmini gears, it's like it's kind of pushed out farther. It's not, but, so, of course, okay. See how it won't come out? Now the stock gear, it just fell right out. So what I did was I kind of just, and let me push that back in. I raised the middle gear a little, and it just comes right out for some strange reason. And that's so when you're putting it in, raise that middle gear just a tick, and see how it looks like the bearing won't fit, like it's pushing it. I don't know why it does that, but I guess because of the teeth angle. And you just kind of pull up on it. And of course I'm doing this with one hand, so bear with me. And it slides in. And everything's happy. So we got 3 shafts in here. And that's it. And if you want to just test it out by hand, just lube everything up, even the gear teeth, lube them up. And of course, it's touching right there. So right now, we are in high gear, because of course there's nothing holding that up. So you can test your little high gear out, yada yada, everything moves. Of course these are still moving too. Okay, and moves pretty easy. Okay, there we go. Kind of tilts it up. Hold it with one hand. Move it. Moves pretty easy. Okay, let's test out the low gear. As you can see, we just slide that bad boy over, and now we're in low gear. You can feel that low gear turn. There we go. We lose the gear. Hear that low gear. Turn it. Turn it butter. And it comes out again. Anyway, that's it. And what you want to do next is, of course, you wanted to put the crush washer down first, then the one needle bearing spacer, then the other needle bearing, as you can see. And then you get the second crush washer, and you put a little grease right there, and you stick it, and just so you know, there is, once you unstick the thing, okay, the brass looking part always goes toward the gear on both ends. There's a crimped part there, as you can see, it's crimped out, and it lines up with the little groove. This happens on the other casing. And once you get that bad boy nice and center it up as best as you can, you just grab this casing and you just slide it on there. And you can look, make sure everything's falling down in one piece. And you know, once it hits, I mean, it'll just pop right on, so it's all good. But that is our setup. See, everything just works great. Low gear action. This kit came with, and say, new high gear, new low gear, and new middle gears. And it came with a new output shaft, which of course, like I said, I don't know if that's because there's a different teeth count. I don't know. I'll count it. Just haven't gotten to it. And that looks about it. And also, they say, which I never knew, but I never took notice, and I didn't mention anything about the four-wheel drive idiot light. When you, of course, when you're first taking it apart, you take that out, and there's a big dent and ball. It's just like the one we took off from the shifter, but it's bigger, so you can't really mix and match them. So just, if you're afraid you're going to do it, just put it in a Ziploc bag or whatever, magnet holder. Make sure you place your shifter sheet while your thing on its brass. Just once you get it bolted down and the front part on, screw your flanges on. It is a 27mm with that nut. Make sure you crimp it. Make sure you uncrimp it. It's kind of hardened still. Nut, I guess. Yeah, use a flat blade, or it says use a point punch. No, I don't have a point punch. So I use a screwdriver. And another thing to remove before you install it is, obviously you'll take the speedo cable and that gear out. The speedo cable gear, whatever housing, what they call it, the speedo driven gear case, bolt and remove the speedo driven gear. Okay, so that'll come out. That has two O-rings on it, so you'll probably need to replace those too. And let's see what else we do. Tab, middle, shaft, take that out. Like I said, you just smack it out with a screwdriver, pry it out. And that's if you want to remove